Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. The 18th installment of the First and Inches Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Michael O'Brien, here with my fantastic co-host, Mr.
Aiden Florsher. Today's
we have a guest today.
People.
We got a special
our first
guest.
Official guest on First and Inches. All
Let's
the way
go.
from the other podcast on the internet, TheDeepBall.
Great podcast. Give it a follow.
Great. Give it a follow.
Where can we find that, Peo? Where plug that up?
You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it in our bio on Instagram at @TheDeepBall_. I appreciate the shout. We need some love over there, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, please follow.
For sure.
Let me give him a true introduction. His name is Anthony Paolillo. Good friend.
Yeah, great friend of the
knowledgeable at
podcast.
football.
Friend of the podcast.
Oh, of course, a big time listener too. I see the TikToks. I even dabble in the Twitter as well. I'm well versed in First and
We
Inches.
appreciate that. Man.
Yeah, he knows what he's coming into. He knows what he's getting into.
Like I said, I don't know if I can match the craziness levels, but I'm going to try.
We don't need that.
We don't.
That's all we can
just
ask.
come in here, give us some picks. We want the picks. You're coming in here for the picks.
Hey, listen,
We know you got the numbers
pressure,
lined up.
but-
We got the
Yeah,
number.
man.
You got the numbers lined up.
He's a fellow giant Yankee fan, just like us, so he has similar opinions on sports takes, most likely. So I think this will mesh well. I'm very excited for this Pick'em episode.
Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, I'm mad
Let's get right
excited.
into it. So last let's just go over the records quick for the year.
Let me
Last
just do
week
a
I had
demon
my
laugh really
Yeah,
quick.
dude. I went 3-11 last week. I'm gonna throw up. My worst week of the year, but finally, yeah, Aiden's. Dude.
I'm hyped.
Yeah, you went 7-7. Let's go.
They called me
500.
50%. You know, I'm average.
You're not losing money taking you, but
Oh.
I'm 61-45-2 on the year. You are 44-62-2.
Two methods, man.
Last week kind of bent my record over a little bit. But we're coming back this week.
I mean, it's still
15
pretty
and up.
wet. It's still pretty good, man. You're hitting at a
57%.
split. So
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going over 500, I'm considering that a win. So over 500 for 7 weeks, you got a tall task over
100%.
here.
It's all right.
he knows what he's talking about.
I'm
let's hope.
decent. I'm a decent handicapper. But let's get right into it. I'd like to think I'll probably go 3-11 the next 4 weeks and be 20 games under 500 by week 11. Pat myself on the back. We're already halfway done with the year.
I'm hoping for a bounce back week from my boy Danny Dimes here, which is aka OB.
I faded the Giants last week. That's why I went 3-11.
And I called you a pussy bitch for that. And
I know
it
you were
worked out
correct.
Right.
Yeah, we'll get into that maybe being a pussy bitch when we get to the Giants game. But Thursday night football tonight. Ravens going into Tampa playing the Buccaneers. This line's been going wonky. I've seen it all week. I've seen it like Ravens -1. It's at Bucks -2.
Nonsense.
I've been seeing injury reports on Andrews. I don't know if he's playing tonight. Let me give it a quick Google.
I mean, if he's not playing, that might be the reason why it's flipping like that.
That's gigantic. Yeah, it's their entire passing offense.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah, he
Let's see.
was a little banged up last week as well.
He's questionable.
I mean,
Yeah.
you'd think that if he played last week and he had a questionable tag all week, then a short week will still go. But obviously, yeah, you guys know how much they feature their tight ends in their offense. That'd be a brutal blow.
Oh, my God. Yeah, like, I didn't even think about that. Thank God, with my pick in this Thursday night game, I took the Buccaneers with that news. I mean,
Give me some numbers on that.
I think realistically, this is a nonsense line.
It is funky. It is a little funky.
Even without Mark Andrews, I think the Bucks are horrendous. But I'm gonna give a nonsense answer here. I'm taking the Bucks. It's also because the Ravens really don't impress me that much in the late part of games. They kind of seem to blow it. Bucks are 3-4 and are in first place. It's not like they're at a terrible spot mentality-wise. I think they're still in the mentality of, we could still make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're lucky their division is absolute dog water. Everyone in that division. I think every team in that division is 3-4, if I'm not mistaken, except the Saints.
They're in
Saints
first
are
2-5.
It's Carolina might also be 2-5.
I think Carolina's. Are they?
Don't they have the tie?
Carolina.
Yeah.
The Saints are both 2-5, but Atlanta.
Yeah, but the Falcons are 3-4.
And Atlanta, honestly, probably should have beat the Bucks a couple weeks ago.
And Atlanta plays Carolina this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be weird.
If Carolina wins and the Bucks lose, they're tied for first place.
There goes the tank. You know what I'm saying?
There goes the tank. Playoff push. Let's trade back for McCaffrey. Take the picks back.
That's actually going to be hilarious to watch play out. What do you got to say about this game, OB?
I'm taking the Ravens here. I know it's kind of a sucker bet, but the Bucs have just looked dead to me. I'm not even thinking about it in terms of like betting. The Bucs look so dead. They just lost back-to-back games to the Steelers and the Panthers. Minimal offense in both of those games against not great defenses. Well, the Panthers are a good defense, but still, you can't score 3 points against the fucking Panthers. That's an embarrassment. So I'm just going to take the Ravens here. The Ravens have been in close games all year, and they've sold leads in almost every game. Like, if they didn't blow fourth-quarter leads, they would be like 5-3, 6-1 right now.
Totally agree with that. But that's the reason why I'm taking the Bucs.
Brady doesn't look that great. Yeah, it is weird. I'm probably falling right into where Vegas wants me. But I like the Ravens. I just think they're the better team.
All right, I like that. What about you, Peo?
So, yeah, I mean, I was pretty high on the Bucs coming into the season. I thought that they were going to be an NFC contender. I think through 7 weeks, they're pretty disappointed with how their season turned out, but they're still in a decent spot where they are, at least in the NFC South. Last week was pathetic. Like you said, I think they ran. Fournette only ran for about 46 yards on the ground. Like that's just
you got to get him more involved, man.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be the least amount of yards that they've ran for. Like their running back has ran for under Brady. You'd think.
Fournette had a negative 3-yard game.
I was gonna say the Chiefs game was just as bad. Him running the ball. I just think it's a good bounce back spot for the Bucs. Get the Ravens on a short week, going back home to Tampa. They're losing a couple guys in their secondary. Carlton Davis isn't playing. Sean Murphy Bunting and Antoine Winfield. Those are three of their starting secondary defensive backs.
They're all out?
Yeah, they're all out.
Okay,
that makes me like the Ravens.
I like your numbies.
To be fair, though, I think that if there's a team that you'd want to lose a couple of those DBs to, it would be the Baltimore Ravens. No, like outside of obviously Andrews, but like you're not really crazy worried about Bateman. And Bateman himself is still banged up a little bit. He's been having a questionable tag all week.
Yeah,
I'll take the Bucs
foot injury, I believe.
Yeah. So I'll just take the Bucs here in a hope for a spot, like a bounce back spot. And this is like I don't want to say it's like a savior season type of game in week 8, but
I kind of agree though. I would.
Like you got to get off a skid here, especially at like the sour taste that the last 2 weeks with Pittsburgh and Carolina's left in your mouth.
Yeah,
like,
you got to
win this game against the Ravens. You're 4-4 through 8 weeks. You're like, all right, it could be a lot better, but we're still in a decent spot. So I'll take the Bucs here, laying the 2 points.
Yeah, 4-4 looks a lot better than 3-5, especially in that division. So,
you look like a
this
trophy.
is definitely a bounce back spot for the Bucs. Lamar is my goat, so let's go Ravens.
I respect that pick.
And now we got another gross London game.
Ooh.
9:30 a.m. Set the alarm clocks for this one, folks. This is going to be a doozy.
Or don't if you don't want to watch it. I mean, I don't blame you for sleeping through for this.
Yeah, I might have to sleep through this one.
I'm
not going to lie.
Taking like Travis Etienne first touchdown. Broncos versus the Jaguars. This is technically a home game for the Jaguars. We know they have
literally.
Well, they do play. I think they had a contract to play in London yearly.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. They're favored by 2.5 points here over the Broncos. Peo, start us off. What are you thinking?
Yeah, what do you think?
That was some great analysis. We need some more.
Hey, you're looking like a pro out here.
Both of these teams coming off 4-game losing streaks. It's almost like which team's not as ugly as the other.
Oh yeah, completely.
This is going to be not who wins the game. It's going to be who loses this game.
It, yeah. Russell Wilson, I actually think him not playing last week was beneficial maybe for him. Maybe it just got him to see the offense from a farther scope. And Denver's defense, lost in all of Denver's disappointment, has been phenomenal. They've given up 8 touchdowns in 7 games, which is ridiculous.
They're disgusting. They're really
I can't remember the defensive coordinator's name. He's from the Rams, though. He's been awesome. Hackett's they said Hackett might be coaching for his job with the bye week up next week, which I don't think is that crazy of an overreaction. I'm going to take the Broncos here.
He looks like a Pee-wee football coach.
He doesn't even know what he's doing out there. He's like, where am I?
I mean, and two, like after I think it was after week 1 or week 2, he literally hired like a game clock coach or something like that. Like literally just admitting, yes, I was over my head.
That's so brutal, dude.
Like that's disgusting. Like that's
game manager coach.
That can't get public. Like come on, that's just an admission. That I mean, obviously they only hired him just to try to draw Rodgers. Probably should have just been like psyched once Rodgers didn't come. But with that even being said, I think that Russ with a week off, and I think that like Jacksonville's not the same team that they were the first couple weeks of the year. I think their defense, Denver wins them this game in a low-scoring, ugly London game. London games seem to be always close. But yeah, I'll ride with Broncos country somehow.
I'm gonna go with a little let's ride too. I agree with you. Like I don't really think the Jaguars should be favorites in this game, honestly. Broncos D is very legit, like you said. I believe they're 4th in the league in points allowed per game. Only 8 touchdowns. I didn't know that was a number. That's nuts.
That is.
But you have guys like Chubb,
number.
Patrick Surtain. You have some legit playmakers on that defense. And favorites of 3 points, 0 to 3 points in London. They're 4-6 against the spread at Wembley Stadium, which is where they're playing right now. And at the other London venues, 4-1. So for some reason, the favorites don't really cover at Wembley.
They don't like the soccer stadium.
I think they're all soccer stadiums. They just don't like Wembley for some reason.
Who plays
Denver's 2-2 against spread as a dog also, and Jacksonville is 0-2 as a favorite against the spread So I think like Denver +3 here. I'd buy it up to a 3, and I think that's the move. This is definitely going to be an ugly game, so I'd rather trust Denver's defense in this type of game, especially if Russell Wilson's playing instead of fucking who was their quarterback last week? What was his name? Oh, yeah.
He kind of looked electric, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, those 3 field goals they kicked were electric. You take him over Russ?
Dude, I was saying in that game, they wouldn't even have any field goals if Russ was out there. Like, at least that Ripien was throwing. No, I'm not. If you've been
Russ
watching,
has been brutal, but he's not worse than Brett Ripien.
He's
been brutal.
There's an argument.
If they put up like 6 points against the Jaguars this week, I'll agree with you. But until then,
all right.
No.
Because
who are you taking here?
I'm going Jags here, no doubt. If you take the Broncos here, you're a pinhead. I'm not going to lie. This is, like you said, basically a home game for the Jags. I mean, Broncos have literally given me 0 to talk about for them. I can't even say one good thing about them this year besides their fan base is good for sticking by them. I mean, I wouldn't be too happy. I mean, unless, like I stated in an earlier episode, them pull a 180. I'm going to fade the Broncos for the rest of the year because John Elway, we don't know his pronouns. Also, a little stat.
You are fake news.
Also, another stat for London. Jags are 4-4 in London, and Broncos are 0-1. So I think
small sample size.
Yeah, small, but still there. They don't know how to. Stallions can't cross the pond.
There's no confident side here. I'll just take the dog, honestly.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll go with the guy who's at least getting extra preparation on the flight over, throwing up some high knees.
Yeah, he's getting his high knees in.
I'm going against that guy, man.
I just think he's become such a meme, and he's just like honestly embraced it even more. Which is honestly like, I guess I respect it in the sense that like he's continuing to double and triple down.
Yeah, doubling down on being a
the danger which goes down, and what does he come back with? High knees. Like, come on.
He's having a tough run right now.
Have you tried it?
He's having a tough run of it right now. He's having a tough go on the PR side.
Let's move on to the Sunday 1 p.m. games.
We
got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Eagles, -10.5 favorites. I'm taking the Eagles here. I think this is a complete mismatch on both ends. The 0.5 scares me a teens. I mean, I'd personally buy it down to probably 9.5. I think they win by 10. I think that's safer. Eagles off a bye. Steelers lost to a still concussed and probably brain damaged Tua. I mean, come on. Mind you,
they dropped like 4 picks in that game. That was bad.
Yeah, mind you, this was a primetime game where games tend to end close no matter who's playing. So
yeah,
I think this is a perfect time for like Vegas to trick you and thinking 10.5 might be too easy for Steelers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they have the public right where they want them with the Steelers. It's like, 10.5, that's so easy. They just covered against.
I think the public's on Philly, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. No, but I'm just thinking. I'm
64% of the bet's on Philly.
I didn't look at either, so I just think take the birds there for sure.
I like the Steelers here, man. I'm going to be honest. I think this could be the Steelers, the Eagles' letdown game, I should say. Because, the Steelers' defense has played pretty well the last couple weeks. The Eagles have had a habit of letting teams back into games in the second half. They seem to get up early and kind of take their foot off the gas. And you saw like the Cowboys game was within 3 points before that last touchdown at the end. They won on a missed field goal to Arizona the week before. They're coming off a bye. I don't know. I think they'll take the Steelers for 10.5. And I think this is an interesting money line here too, honestly, for the value at least. I'm not going to say that the Steelers are going to win this game, But it is a very Steelers thing to do to win this type of game, and then play the Falcons next week and get blown out by 20. So I like the Steelers here with 10.5. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying there in the sense that this would be a Steelers type of victory. It's just
Eagles have been really good, but they haven't really had that blowout win yet. I feel like over
Which, honestly,
a really good team.
I think this could be this week.
It could be, but
I think it's going to get pretty ugly in Philadelphia with them coming off the bye. So I'll take the Eagles with the 11 points. I think it just comes down to the trenches, and Philadelphia is going to bully them around all day.
Love what this guy Payo, man.
And I just this is a Pittsburgh offensive line that can't block anybody.
Oh, they're horrible.
Defensive
really
front
bad.
That's very deep and very good, showcasing Robert Quinn this week. Hassan Reddick on the other side is just going to make everybody better up front. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Eagles here.
Scary.
Hopefully, not too much of a bye hangover. I mean, you guys kind of alluded to, I am a Giants fan, so I absolutely, every ounce of my body hates taking Philadelphia every week, but credit's where credit's due. So
I've been giving the Eagles credit this year on this program, man, but I think this is kind of a weird spot for them. So I don't know. I think the Steelers always, I feel like, play up and down the competition.
I totally see where you're coming from. I love the Steelers. I love a good little Steelers upset. It gets the gears
they looked
going.
so bad last week too, and that game was close. And,
you think it's the opposite of the trick? What do you think I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think everyone's going to be like, Philly's going to fuck them up. They scored 10 points last week and dropped 4 interceptions.
But Pickett's not that good, man.
I know, but they have weapons still. All it takes is one throw to George Pickens.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll take the Steelers for 10.5. The next game, I think I would be shocked if we all didn't agree on this one. Patriots going into MetLife Stadium, 2.5-point favorites against the New York Jets. I'm on the Patriots here. They've won 12 straight against the Jets. I don't see that changing, especially with losing Brees and AVT. That's the heart of their offense, honestly. And I just don't see that trend breaking. I don't really have to go in depth on this one. I feel like it's Billy Belichick versus Bob Saleh, 12 in a row. I don't see that breaking this week.
Payo?
I mean, Zach Wilson, after that fourth quarter comeback they had in Pittsburgh, has been really bad. And it's kind of got masked by the fact that they've won games. So, good for the Jets. I know they got James Robinson. They're going to struggle, though, running the football. The Patriots just got dominated on Monday Night Football to the Chicago Bears, specifically in the trenches. This is a Patriots team that's built pretty well, especially on their offensive line. I don't see it happening 2 weeks in a row, especially with Brees Hall and AVT out on the Jets' offensive side of things. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots minus 2.5 here and feeling pretty comfortable about it.
I think this is I think this is the easy. I think this might be the only thing all three of us agree on, honestly.
This is called the slot machine triple cherry. I'm taking the Patriots. I mean, I think this is literally, like you said, giving a dog a bone.
It's taking candy from a baby, honestly.
I think the Jets, it's kind of sad because I like New York winning, especially in football. It brings a nice vibe to the city and Long Island itself, whatever. But
Brees Hall was their entire offense.
Yeah, Brees and AVT are probably season enders. I'm sorry to say. I know James Robinson, he's good, but he's no Brees Hall. And we all know that.
And he's not going to come in this week and have a full package.
He probably won't even play this week. He's not Christian McCaffrey.
He'll probably barely play if he does, yeah.
It's not like Christian McCaffrey where you could plug and play him in any offense, in any scheme. And and he didn't even play that well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. There's no stats that I really need to say. It's Billy B. He owns the Jets over the years. Let's get it.
The only thing that I think that could hurt New England is if they kind of get in their own way with how they did with their quarterback situation last week.
That was weird.
Zappy
I'm curious to see
Jones.
what they do this week.
They said Jones took 90% of first-team reps early in the week, so they're going to ride with him, which is probably the way it should be. I love Bailey Zappi. He was real good at Western Kentucky last year. However, there's a reason why he took Mac Jones in the first round, and there's a reason why he took Bailey Zappi in the fourth round. So
yeah, there's also a reason Mac went to Bama and Bailey Zappi went to Western Kentucky.
And Bailey Zappi was at Houston Baptist for 4 years before he went to Western Kentucky. Exactly. There's a reason for it. It can
that always
fluctuate
doesn't matter, though.
No, very, very true, very true. But I think who gives them a best chance to win every Sunday for this year? Zappi as a rookie or Jones in the second year? I mean, I think it's pretty one-sided that it would be Jones.
It seems that the fans want Zappi, though. I was correct, man.
Well, I mean, he was great when he came in the first 2 drives, and they turned the ball over.
That was electric. Zappy. I was going crazy.
There was people manning the Zappy corner. One of them had a Mac Jones Alabama jersey on. I was like, that's so fucking funny. He had an SEC Mac Jones patch jersey. Let's go Zappy. Yeah.
I would do
the probably call him Mac Jones the second coming of Tom Brady 7 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Manning the Zappy corner.
Nothing on Zappy Gilmore.
No, nothing. Next game, 1 p.m.
Yeah, I'll move on.
Kick us off. Kick us off.
The Carolina Panthers, who surprisingly had one of their best performances in maybe a few years last week, at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons and kind of laugh about it. I really have no clue what this game is. I mean, I took the Panthers over the Bucs last week, and I know this is kind of counteractive to what I said last week, but I think I went a little over my head on the Panthers train. They completely come down to earth this weekend. They're going to have that "you're not that guy, pal" game. You know what I'm saying? Falcons have a solid team that gets hated on by a lot of the media and fantasy community because their stars aren't that great this season, and Arthur Smith or whatever his name is doesn't know how to completely
they throw
use
the ball
them.
15 times a game.
But
it is kind of dumb.
Team. They're a decent team.
No, they are a decent team, but last week they went down early and they were still trying to establish the run. It's dude, you have Pitts in London. I get Mariota's not that great, but you got to at least attempt to throw the ball, especially when you have guys like that. It makes no sense.
And Cordarrelle's coming back, I think, next week, so that's something to look
it's
out
huge.
for.
That is huge for them. Yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons here too. Like you said, Aiden, I'm a conductor of the Falcons train. I hopped off last week, but I'm back on.
You're the conductor.
The Falcons, since 2018, they're 6-2 against the spread as Carolina, 3-2 as a favorite. The public's pretty split on this one. I think people are going to be taking the Panthers after what they saw last week, and I think this is, like you said, a comeback down to earth game for Carolina. And Carolina has not played well against Atlanta in recent history, so I'm going to continue to take that trend. Even though I do love a good divisional underdog, it does pain me to just not take every divisional underdog. But
I mean, you took a lot of them last week, and it kind of backfired.
Yeah, you got fucked up the ass sideways. So I'm going to take the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with both of you. I mean, the first thing.
Wow, another triple whammy.
It's a prime letdown spot for Carolina. You just absolutely mollywop Tampa Bay. It's not going to happen again. Atlanta, like you said, an underrated team, and at the spread, Atlanta 6-1 this year. This has to be maybe the only game that's actually even favored in, let alone by 4 points. They love to run the football, as you mentioned. 13 pass attempts in the game that they lost 35-17, I think. That's atrocious. How does that happen? I know.
Yeah,
Carolina
that's why
did a
people
good job
shit on
last
Arthur.
week. Yeah, exactly. But he's a pretty decent coach, scheming up a run game and stuff like that. I think that he plays to his team's strengths. I think that ultimately, maybe it's not necessarily a blowout, but I think Atlanta covers the 4 pretty easy in a 7 to 10 point victory.
Yeah,
and I just don't
would agree.
PJ Walker, the guy who completed one ball past the line of scrimmage 2 weeks ago against the Rams. I'm going to put my faith in him of having back-to-back pretty solid weeks.
No. Even though I said he would beat the Bucs last week, and he did. I mean, he's going to lose this week, I promise.
On to the Tank Bowl. This might be the Tank Bowl of the week. Raiders going into New Orleans playing the Saints. Raiders are favored by 1.5 points here. Peo, kick us off here. This is a weird game. I feel pretty strongly in my pick here, but this is a weird one.
All right, so, I mean, the Raiders, all their losses are one-score games. I think their offense has been a lot better than maybe people necessarily give them credit for. Josh Jacobs is running for a contract, and it's clearly obvious. Devontae Adams has assimilated pretty well, even though, Renfro hasn't really done anything this year. Waller's been a mystery when he's hurt and active and not. The Saints, I mean, it's just been disastrous for them without their first-round pick. I don't see it getting any better either. I mean, this is the Saints. I know they had 2 pick-sixes last week, the Cardinals, but the Saints gave up what? The Cardinals put up 42 points in that game. I think the Raiders' offense is better than Arizona's. So I'm going to go with the Raiders here, -1.5. Lattimore probably isn't going to play. He hasn't been at practice either. That just means Devontae Adams is going to go that much more crazy. So, yeah, I'll take the Raiders here and back their offense that has been sneaky. I don't want to say elite in a sense, but, they're probably, I mean, by most metrics, I'd say a top 10 offense.
Yeah, statistically, I would probably agree with you. At least top 15.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Saints here. I'm going to fade you and take the Saints. Saints have been rough in this type of spot this year. They've been like short dogs of 3 points or less, and they're 0-2 against the spread in that spot. I think they're kind of due. The Raiders, I don't think are really that great. I don't like McDaniels. I think their offense is good, but their defense hasn't been that great. They gave up 20-something points to the Texans last week. I just think this is probably – is it not? I believe Winston's coming back too, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah, they officially said that.
He's not?
He's not, and Dalton's going to get the start. But I think
Dalton's
Winston
been all right,
is healthy.
honestly. Yeah. So I just think this is a good spot. The Saints at home, even with all the injuries, they've played decently well. If the two pick sixes don't happen last week, that's a completely different game. So I'm going to take the Saints plus 1.5 here. I've been taking them every week and losing. I'm going to continue to take them until they cover, and then victory lap it for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely take the Saints here too, and probably regret it later.
Yeah, it's really just fading the Raiders. I don't trust Josh McDaniels at all.
When I made this pick, I kind of thought that Jameis would be playing. I thought he would make like a Batman-like return and like come in with the Batmobile and like
nothing but pain.
Yeah, it would be just sick. You know what I'm saying? And score like 50 points, throw for like 6 touchdowns, break the NFL record. You know what I'm saying?
Also have 3 interceptions that are disgusting, but
that's
cool.
Would
be sick.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that if any time to turn the season around for the Saints, it's probably over this Raiders team who was underperforming this whole season. I mean, they have been hot, but that doesn't really put aside the fact that they kind of stink. I mean, yeah, Josh Jacobs looks good, but nothing else on that team screams, I can't
trust their defense.
I can't.
Or their coaching for my life, so I'm going to fade them.
I can't trust Derek Carr at all.
He looked decent last week.
I just can't trust him, man.
But it's also the Texans.
He's always sus.
He is sus sometimes. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm fading the. It's really just a Raiders fade. I don't have that much confidence in the Saints, but they've been short dogs every week, even with all these injuries. So Vegas does still like them. It seems like this just feels like a Taysom Hill type of game to me, where they're giving 10 carries and they just run all over the Raiders. You still have Kamara. You still have Olave. I think their offense will still be able to score. It's just a matter if their defense can hold up enough.
Can Cameron Jordan stop podcasting? Film a little bit.
He's still a dog.
Nah, he's still cool. A dog. I love his podcast.
Yeah, he's
Trust Levels.
Trust. Is it him and Ingram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trust.
They always have Cameron Jordan on here. Get rid of me as a guest. Get Cam Jordan up here.
I don't think he would respond to our emails or DMs if I had to take a wild guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't set the probability yet of the odd number either.
He'd be like, what are these kids doing? He'd look at our TikToks, and it'd be like me and Aiden's going like, it's the devil's game, put oil on your cock. Like, yeah, I can't come on this program. I have agents.
We're trying to like shoot for AAA.
We're trying to get a AA relief pitcher. That's our wheelhouse right now, I feel like. Do a little scouting on Fangraphs, maybe catch a good pitcher.
And we're also trying to collab with fellow podcasts, like TheDeepBall on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
follow him on Instagram
it.
and Apple Podcasts, TheDeepBall.
Please.
We'll put the links. I'll put the links in the description. We'll plug it up.
I'll lead us into the next game, so we don't give Peo too much promotion.
Can't be stealing all our listeners.
I'm just
exactly right.
I'm joking. Bears at Cowboys. Cowboys favorited by 9.5 points. I've been debating this pick for a few days now, back and forth. Like, this is an absolute phenomenal line, Vegas. You got me.
You got us good on this one, boys.
You absolutely nailed this line to a T. I'm going Cowboys. I think this is a similar situation to the Eagles game to me. Shitty team over-reforming. I mean, and they're playing an absolute nightmare defense in the Cowboys. I could easily seeing this be like a 21 skunk game where Justin Fields is seeing ghosts, hitting the turf every other snap. Like, it's going to be scary. I mean, Cowboys are too good, Bears are too shaky for me to take them in any confidence. I mean, it's 10 points, but, like, that's not as much when, like, the game actually starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, 10 points could literally be like this.
Especially against a team like Dallas, yeah, for sure. What side are we on, Peo? Who are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I pride myself on being a Giants fan, and I'm going to end up taking the Eagles and now the Cowboys -9.5. I think it's similar to a Panthers spot where it's a letdown spot for the Bears to go back-to-back weeks on the road and play pretty well would surprise me, especially against two pretty good defenses. The Bears don't throw the ball as well. They don't throw the ball good. And for them to be 9.5, like almost 10-point underdogs for an offense that really doesn't generate much yards to the air, so you anticipate that they're probably going to trail for a lot of the game. Not really a side that you want to be on, being on the Bears to cover. I think the defense for Dallas wins them this game, and I think, yeah, you're right. Similar to the Lions last week, it's like a 24-6 type of victory for Dallas. I think that, again, Fields ends up running for his life. And yes, the Bears can run the ball pretty good, but it's pretty difficult to run the ball effectively when you're down 2 scores.
Yeah, I totally agree with that statement.
Yeah, I'm on the Cowboys too, man. Another triple whammy.
Oh, my God.
Another triple whammy.
This is insane.
Yeah. It seems fishy to me that Vegas is giving the Bears 9 points again, 9.5, after they just beat the Pats by 20 as 9-point dogs. Since Dak Prescott has been a Dallas Cowboy, 2017 to now, when the Cowboys are favored by 8 or more, they're 5-1 against the spread. So it hasn't happened much, but whenever they've gotten these types of spreads, they've covered. So I'm going to ride that trend also. I just think the Cowboys are such a better team than the Bears. They blew the Lions out of the water last week, kind of, and I think the Lions are better on paper than the Bears. So
yeah, it's the NFC Beast, bro. It's sick.
NFC Beast is the best division of football, dude. We might have 3 playoff teams. There's a good chance we have 3 playoff teams.
And how awesome would it be to play the Eagles or Dallas in the playoffs? I would be my blood would be rushing.
And beat them? Oh, dude, that'd be. I want to play Philly in the playoffs, and their 15-2 season, whatever they do.
That would be freaking.
That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful. Before we get into a Giants fan fiction, let's get into the next game. The Dolphins going into Detroit, playing the Lions. They're favored by 3.5 here. I'm going to take the Lions. I love the Fins, but this is a weird spot. I don't know. I think the Lions are due for an offensive outburst. I believe Swift is supposed to be back this week. ARSB is going to be a little healthier. Hopefully Goff just doesn't throw 7 interceptions. They haven't covered 3 in a row, the Lions, but the Fins haven't covered 4 in a row. Both these teams have been slumping against the spread. I'm going to take the home dog here, and with an offense that I think can score enough points to keep this game very close, even with a team like the Dolphins.
I like that. I mean, I'll probably disagree with you on this one. I could see where you're coming from, where the Lions, they haven't looked great. They're getting all the pieces back to the puzzle. It could start looking like the Lions in week 2 and 3 again. But their defense again is a problem. I mean,
yeah, it's so bad.
I think Vegas literally took a bunch of greenies, amphetamines this week, and literally went ham on these lines. These lines are literally all over the place, but perfect at the same time. Where
they hit up Oil Can Boyd for some of that good crack.
Yeah, I guess I'm taking the Fins here. Yeah, I could see Lions losing by a field goal, which kind of scares me. But when the Lions go down 7-0 on the first drive, Dan Campbell's probably going to have a huge hissy fit and be super overreactive. And
he's going to start tearing up.
Yeah, and then
I love you, man.
And then Swift's going to be like, bro, we're down 7-0. It's not the Super Bowl. We're already out of the playoffs.
We're tanking again.
Yeah, I just think
I love you guys, man. That dude, is he coaching for his job right now?
Yeah.
Probably has to be, right?
I feel like they like him in Detroit. But, I think that everybody, in a sense...
They have another 4-win season. How do you keep him around?
Yeah, exactly. You could be such, players, coach, and stuff like that and appeal to the fans, but at the end of the day, results matter first, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thought Joe Judge was a beast after his first year. We went 6-10 in the worst division in football history. We were like, this dude's Bill Parcells. Let's start running laps around Giant Stadium. Then we started running QB sneaks on 3rd down, and I was like, all right, fuck this guy. I go, don't let the door hit you on the way out, you idiot. Now we have the fucking best coach, maybe in the history of sports, in Brian Dable.
Yeah. So back to this game.
I would argue he's better than George Halas.
All right, we'll get back to this conversation. We got to reel you back in because you'll be going on a Giants rant for about 10 minutes.
At least,
when we're on the
maybe
Fins
20.
Yeah.
I watched 2007 America's game the other night. It got me fucking amped up, dude. I was ready to run through my wall at like 1:30 in the morning.
You just made me break my webcam.
There's Ollie. Let's get on. No, Pale, did you give your pick on this one? You didn't get. We got into a Giants rant. We didn't even get your pick.
Not yet, but I'll keep it brief. I'm going with the Dolphins -3.5 here. The Lions, one of the worst defenses in the league. The Dolphins, obviously, with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the outside. Raheem Mostert runs the ball extremely well. Detroit allows 163 yards on the ground. That's a recipe for a big day from Mike McDaniel and his offense. I think Swift coming back will help the Lions, but at the end of the day, I think that Miami's offense is a little too explosive for him. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, but I'll definitely side with Miami here.
Yeah, me too.
I respect that. This is a weird line, man.
If the Finns want to win this game, they're going to have to probably, instead of injecting adrenaline into their hearts immediately, they're probably going to have to stay a little focused and poised. Instead of going the absolute snorting C4 route like Dan Campbell would. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to go a little tactical.
Yeah, Dan Campbell might not have to have 7 espresso shots before this game. He might need to level out a little bit.
He might need to smoke a doobie.
He should hang out with Aaron Rodgers and his witch wife, do some DMT.
Yeah, he might find the answers.
Let's move on to, I believe this is the last game we have in the 1 o'clock slate, right? Yes, it is.
Yes.
This is an interesting game, especially in terms of playoff standing in the NFC down the line, I think.
I have
Cardinals
some phenomenal
going into Minnesota.
numbies.
Yeah, I got some good numbies on this one. Cardinals going into Minnesota, play the Vikings as 3.5-point favorites. The Vikings 3.5-point favorites, I should say. I'm taking the Vikings here. I think Cliff Kingsbury is an absolute numbskull. I think he might be the worst coach in football. His offensive game plan is flats, stick routes, Kyler Murray run around and hope someone goes downfield. Or
it's like
throw
the turkey
DeAndre
bowl.
Hopkins. Yeah, no, their offense isn't great, at least game plan wise. The Vikings haven't been covering. I just think they're such a better team. This line has stayed at 3.5 all week, with 75% of the bets on the Cardinals. Whenever I say that stuff, that's on Action Network, and I believe they take stuff from all of the sports books, so it's pretty accurate. 75% of the bets on the Cardinals. This line hasn't moved a bit. I'm fading the public, taking the team that I think has the significantly better coaching staff, and is honestly, I think, just the better team as a whole.
Hey, you want to share your opinion on the game?
I'll go here. Because I'm going to go opposite. I'm actually going to take the Cardinals plus 3.5 here. I think
Ooh,
it was
that's
a savior
interesting.
season type of win last week for Arizona. They were 2-4 going into the game. They definitely needed that just to keep pace with everybody in the NFC West, even though the NFC West has kind of been a little slow. DeAndre Hopkins looked great last week, over 100 yards. Vikings secondary, a lot of holes there. The last 4 Minnesota games, they've won all of them, but they're all in one-possession games. Hence, they like to keep it pretty close. So at plus 3.5, I'll take that. I think you could see Minnesota winning this game by 3 points late. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. These two teams played in Arizona, and they won. Arizona won on like a Greg Joseph missed field goal. So maybe it comes down to a game-winning kick again or something like that. So I'll take the Cardinals here at plus 3.5. Mainly going with the Vikings, like to play one-possession games. I think the Cardinals kind of got back on track this year.
I could easily see
this
that.
past week.
Yeah, you make great points there that I don't disagree with one, but I'm on the other side. I'm going with my first and inches brother.
Let's go.
Me and Obi are pulling our anchors up and setting sail with the Vikings this weekend.
We're going on the boat trip. We're going on the boat trip.
Me and Obi have been high on the Vikings all year. This is an easy cover here, people. It doesn't even matter. This is easy.
This is easy.
Honestly, Vikings are another team coming off a bye that should be hot, hot, hot. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Ollie, please.
I agree. Ollie's excited. Ollie's taking the Vikings too, dude.
He's all over Vikings.
Ollie's all over the Vikings. Ollie heard Vikings minus 3.5, and he said, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
Hey, I think he even said buy it up to 6.5, take an alternate line.
Yeah, he said take all the 10. The Cardinals stink. Let's move on to the 4 p.m. games. We got a couple 4 games in the
I didn't
slate.
get to drop my superior numbies.
Oh, I need to hear the superior numbies. I didn't know you had superior numbies, dude.
This weekend's matchup between the Vikings and the Cardinals is set to begin at 12 p.m. on Minnesota's home field. Since 2018, the Vikings are 10-1 in home games that begin at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time or earlier during the months of October and November.
Wow, that is
in this exact
wild.
situation.
Kirk Cousins is a day game merchant, so this is a good spot for him.
Arizona going to a different time zone too, going an hour ahead. Yeah, so
it's an hour back. Hour back.
Yeah, a good one for the good pull, Aiden.
Yeah, it's a great pull.
I told you it was superior numbies. I wouldn't lie.
We had the best. Let's get into these next couple of games. This is an interesting one. Like you said, man, Vegas is doing some trickery this week. They have a couple. They got a couple things up their sleeve this Sunday. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
Titans going into Houston. Titans are 2.5-point favorites against the Texans. Give me the Texans.
I want to see what Peo has to say about this game first.
Yeah, I want to hear Peo's side on this.
I mean, this is such a I think it screams trap. I think we would all agree with that.
Yeah.
The Texans are a better team at home. With that being said, Derrick Henry, I think in his last 3 games against the Texans, has ran for almost 200 yards in each of them. Like, they don't stop him. They just don't. And hence, all the 3 games, like, I know that they normally play them pretty close, too. I remember, like, the end of the regular season, maybe 2 years ago, it came down to, like, a 1-possession game. So maybe that's why the line's a little lower, just by that. I'm just not going to go against the Titans after they got a nice win off a bye week against the Colts, and I'm not trusting Davis Mills. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Titans here and maybe be a real sucker.
I'm taking the Texans. Give me the Texans. I think the Texans win this game outright. They lost by 3 when they played earlier this year, and it was in Tennessee. It was a 28-25 win for the Titans. Like you said, this just has trap written all over it. I love me a good division underdog. The Titans are also 3-6 against the spread against Houston under Mike Vrabel and have not covered their last 3 against Houston under Vrabel. So I'm going to continue to ride that trend. They seem to play each other close. I would buy it up to 3 if you were taking the points, obviously, just to have that, or even 3.5, but just to have that, confidence of if they lose on a field goal, you're not losing the bet. But I think these games are always close, especially with these two teams. I'm going to ride those trends, take the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of gives me a little bit of clarity why it would be like that line, you know what I mean? Maybe that makes me feel a little better about the Titans, knowing that they struggled to cover in these types of spots.
It's also a road game, too, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, and I don't remember exactly what the score was of the game that the Chargers played in Houston, but they played them pretty close, Houston. I do remember that. So,
yeah, Texas have had a couple pretty close games this year against decent teams, so they have some weapons. Like Cooks isn't bad. Pierce has been running the ball well. I don't think they will. I think they'll be able to score. So I think this will be close.
I'm doing the Dirk Nowitzki fade here. I'm taking the Titans. Well, first off, I threw about 20 treats at Ollie, so he would just shut up the fuck up for 1 minute. So back to this freaky deaky line, like you said.
Freaky deaky.
I'm going with my gut and say Titans. There's no overlying factor here for me, really. I mean, I guess it would be quarterback here.
Just taking the better team.
I think Tannehill is like probably less likely to make mistakes than Davis Mills. And with a 2.5 line, it's short. I think 1 or 2 mistakes will probably determine the outcome of this game. Davis Mills will probably look like a newborn calf, like 2/4 through this game after his third interception or something. All I hope is my son Damian Pierce does good. Love you, brother.
Yeah, the running back sleeper of the century. This game, you just dox yourself. Nice. We'll have to bleep that out. This next game, these are 2 teams that me and Aiden cannot read at all, I don't think. I think whenever we pick these teams, whenever these teams play, we pick the opposite side. Every time. I don't think I've picked either of these teams correct all year. The Commies going into Indy, playing the Colts and Sammy Ehlinger. Colts are favored by 3 points here. I hate this. I'm going to take the Colts. I think that line tells me all I need to know. They're starting a 6th-round quarterback, and they're still favored by 3 points, even though it is a home game. Commies have had a couple wins in a row, but not convincingly. The Packers suck. I don't know. This is a weird one. I'm gonna fade the public again. 70+% in the bets on Washington. Give me the Colts here. Maybe Sam Ellinger just doesn't suck ass.
That is pretty unlikely, but
I agree.
Whatever I pick here, like you said, goes the opposite. I haven't picked the Commanders right in the last maybe 6 weeks. I'm taking the Colts because I always love a good commies win. Redistribute the wealth and the W's to all the people equally. And
redistributing some money to FanDuel.
And I was telling OB earlier, I think Heineke is a South Pole elf with a fantastic godly arm. They just went to the South Pole and just picked up some angry guy, and they were like, "Can you throw a football?" And he was like,
Bud Light Seltzers
no,
in the locker room.
I make presents and do crack.
You think Taylor Heineke does crack? This show's had a heavy crack theme the last few episodes.
No, but what I'm saying is, all the elves in the South Pole do illicit drugs and narcotics and all that shit.
Where are you getting this information from? I'm going to need a fact check.
Twitter.
Reuters. You read this on NPR?
No, I read this on Alex Jones's.
Oh no, yeah, that's he reminds us of InfoWars. Yeah, that's really the trusted news source.
The South Pole elves.
They're doing meth in the South Pole. That's turning the elves gay.
They're making toys that are demented.
They're trying to poison the children, the radical left, with elves. All right, let's move on. Peo, you didn't get your. I'm forgetting we have a guest. I'm just forgetting we have a guest. I went Alex Jones. I went full Alex Jones.
I mean, this isn't a game that you should that I'm really thrilled about picking. I'm going to take Washington +3 here, and just that the move to Sam Ellinger isn't we're going to our young stud quarterback who's finally getting a chance. No, Matt Ryan is hurt and is actually really bad. Gets sacked all the time and turns the ball over. So maybe the 6th round, second-year guy who's never really played a ton is going to fix all the turnover problems and magically isn't going to get sacked anymore. I really don't care that Jonathan Taylor's back.
Absolutely not.
I'm gonna go with Washington here. I mean, the Colts. I'm normally pretty high on the Colts. They arguably should not have one win this year. You look at it. I think they have 3 wins, or they have 2 wins and a tie. They are atrocious. They do not deserve to have a win this year. So, with that being said, I will go with the Commanders here +3. I don't love taking them after a nice big win for them against Green Bay, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, that is respectable. I could totally. If I wasn't the complete mush of the Commanders, I would have taken them this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now that I'm on the Colts, Commanders are definitely going to just blow them out by 50.
Yeah, Peo, congrats on the win in this game.
This one of the better games of the week now. 49ers going into Los Angeles, the city of angels, playing the Rams. Niners are favored by 1.5 here. Peo, what's your pick? We need to know.
Kyle Shanahan in his career is 8-4 against Sean McVay. Jimmy Garoppolo in the regular season is 7-0 against the Los Angeles Rams. The 49ers are coming off a really ugly loss last week to Kansas City, where they actually got a little bit more healthy, but it didn't really matter because Patrick Mahomes reminded people that he's the man. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Niners here, bouncing back. I think McCaffrey gets a little bit more acclimated. I know that the Rams are coming off a bye, and McVay's such a good coach that you want to kind of side with that guy coming off a bye, especially as an underdog at home in a division game. But Shanahan just owns them. I mean, look at the game that they played on Monday night this year. It was pretty obvious. Again, he coaches circles around McVay, and it sucks because McVay's such a good coach, but it just seems to play out very similarly time and time again. So I'm not going to go against that trend. I'm going to go with the Niners here, especially the better defense, too. Yeah, as good as the Rams defense is.
Completely agree with you, Lilo. This is a no-brainer. If you know football and you know this trend, why would you bet against this trend? I think Shanahan is literally going to swaddle McVay like a little baby. Give him a little kiss.
You're going to do a Josh Naylor, but hopefully not lose?
And rock him to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And then McVay's going to
rocking.
Open his eyes. 37-0 49ers. I heard it. You heard it here.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm agreeing.
I think Peo said they're on a 7-game win streak. Did you say that?
Yeah, they are on a 7-game win streak against the Niners.
Garoppolo. No, well, maybe regular season. I know.
Yeah,
Garoppolo
regular
is definitely
season it is
7-0 against them. Obviously, they beat them in the championship game, the Rams last year, but still, I mean, even that was when the Niners were pretty bad too in 2020. Like they still beat, you know what I mean? So I mean, it's just Shanahan just understands. Like I mean, they're both from a very similar coaching tree from their time together in Washington.
Yeah, they coach together.
Are they not from the Shanahan coaching tree, like the dad?
Yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they both were in Washington when Mike was there.
So you don't think the dad probably told him some OD good secrets and was like, "Yo, McVay, I'm not telling you shit, buddy. Sorry. Have fun."
Well, because McVay ended up actually getting the offensive coordinator spot in Washington, and I don't know if Shanahan took because he became Cleveland's OC, but I don't know if he was ever Washington's offensive coordinator under his dad. I know Jay Gruden then was there too. That's a whole mess. I mean, they kept Jay Gruden instead of promoting in-house O'Connell, LaFleur, McVay, and Shanahan. Like that's disgusting. I think there's actually another coach in there too.
That's an amazing thing.
McDaniel was
it's incredible.
on that Washington staff.
Mike McDaniel's been wherever what's his name's been Shanahan. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's absurd. But
I'm taking the Niners here too, man.
That's unreal, dude. That's like magic. Those are like wizards around like a round table. Like that is unreal. That's some Dumbledore shit.
And they still stunk.
No, but you know what? But you know what I'm saying though? Like the offensive minds that were like in that room at once is like probably
it's crazy.
It never happened before and probably won't happen again.
No, it's nuts. It is nutty. Another triple whammy. I'm taking the Niners here. Like you said, 7 straight wins against the Rams in the regular season. I think CMC will get a lot more involved. The Niners have had 2 kind of shit games in a row. Lost to the Falcons, lost to the Chiefs. I think this is a bounce-back spot for them against a team they dominate in the regular season. And even their loss in the NFC Championship game was on a last-second field goal. So I'm taking the Niners here.
That's respect. I love another triple. This is like the most. This is literally the most that me and OB have ever agreed.
I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it.
All 3 of us are agreeing. This is like insane.
I think all 3 of us are going to agree on this next game too. Yeah. Unironically, the game of the week.
It is. I think
this is the game of the week. Yeah, and if you told us that before the year, we would have laughed in your face.
Only 2 teams that have a winning record that are playing each other. So, yeah.
That's insane, dude. Giants, Seahawks in Week 8. Giants going into Seattle, 3-point favorites. The Seahawks are, I should say. Giants are 3-point dogs.
Can you do your apology now?
Keep down the G-men. I am a pussy bitch for fading the Giants last week. Vegas scared me. Vegas scared me out of my morals.
And Dable.
Yeah, that was a trap. That seemed like such a trap line.
Yeah, that's. I was trusting my process, and I got bent over last week. The public ate up last week.
Vegas curb stomped. No, Dable curb stomped Vegas.
Agreed.
No teeth.
Well, Vegas tried to give the Jaguars that game at the end there too, man.
Yeah,
they really tried to. But yeah, I'm taking the Giants money line. Danny Jones alternate 300+ passing yards. I don't need a fucking number. Fuck a trend. Brian Dable is the best coach of all time. Giants +3. Giants money line. Wan'Dale Robinson anytime touchdown. Danny Jones 300+ passing yards. Those are all my plays. I'll say all those. They're all going to hit.
That's hot. Do I even need to say anything? G-Men. Dable's a genius. We got rid of Tony today, which is honestly a burden off probably Dable's chest because he doesn't have
decent compensation for him too, so I can't really complain with that.
Me neither, and he doesn't have to hear from the fans. Why are you playing? Why isn't he playing? He just wants to focus on the team and who is playing and who gives it their all. Obviously, that injury shit was fake, and I mean, if you don't want to play for a 6-1 Giant team, then you don't want to play for any Giant team at all. So
yeah, he just didn't want to be in New York at all,
which clearly is like disappointing because we have a great team. We could really use him, but
for
whatever.
Sure.
Hopefully, he has a great career. I wish the best of luck to Miss Young Joker.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame, but again, the Giants have had so many problems at the wide receiver position this year that for them to give up on their most talented one for a 3rd and a 6th, it kind of signals like where they think Tony's role is with the team. Like there wasn't really any. So I understand the move too, not tied to any of the regime and stuff like that. Obviously, they picked Robinson in the 2nd round this past year. That was kind of like maybe the beginning of the end for Tony in New York. let's move into the life without Kadarius Toney, even though he only played 12 games with us. Of course, I'm all over the Giants at +3, and of course to win the game. Daniel Jones, 30 straight games, leading fourth quarter comebacks. Give me a fourth one this week in Seattle. Seattle's going to put up some yards like the Giants do. They allow a lot of yards, but the Giants absolutely refuse to break. They get a ton of stops, especially in the red zone. Wink Martindale, again, his job will be a little easier this week. It doesn't look like Metcalf's going to play. So no Metcalf, and kind of shadow Adoree Jackson with Tyler Lockett. You can move him around, and that definitely fixes a lot of potential problems that you could have there. I know Geno's been great. However, Kenneth Walker's been really good. And like I said, they'll probably put up a bunch of yards and stuff. But at the end of the day, the Giants are 6-1. They've been winning close games. This is going to be a close game. I'll ride with the Giants again. Tough place to play in Seattle. Don't get me wrong.
Kenny Walker might have 200 yards this week. I will say that.
Kenneth Walker will probably run wild.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker might have 200 yards this week. But I do, like you said, the Giants bend no break. They don't break in the red zone.
In 7 games, I'm sure we've been outgained in 5 of them.
At least half of them. Yeah, at least half of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Not being outscored, though. Not being outscored, though.
No.
That Bears game, we should have won that game by 70, actually. That was one of our worst games of the year, but we still won.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Let's go. Sunday Night Football now. Packers going into Buffalo, playing the Bills. Bills are favored by 10.5 here. Bills are going to win this game by 78 points.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Packers,
Rodgers is a bum at this point.
Even if the spread was 14. Maybe it does look a little fishy at first because you just see the Packers and stuff like that. The Bills blow out teams that they're supposed to. This Green Bay football team is not good. There's just nothing else to it. They are not a good football team. Bills coming off a bye and stuff like that. It's a primetime game. Off the top of my head, I feel like the Bills haven't really had a stinker in primetime of recent memory.
No, they blew out the Rams week 1, right?
And the Titans.
This is a team, too, that Aaron Rodgers has just lost to Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, and Taylor Heineke in 3 straight weeks. Now I'm going to pick against him over Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely not. No way.
No.
Who's getting open for the biggest problem with Buffalo is sometimes their secondary, there's a lot of missing pieces there and stuff like that. Who's getting open for Green Bay? Nobody. Give me the Bills.
Lazard's not going to play this week, I don't think. I don't think Cobb and Lazard are playing this week. They're cucked.
Cobb is definitely out.
Yeah. I don't think Lazard's going to play this week either, so they're beat.
That's great.
You in agreement, Mr. Scissor Dick Chocolate?
Oh, I'm taking the Bills. I mean, like Peo said, I would literally take the Bills minus 10.5 against maybe 3/4 of the league and be pretty okay about it. I mean, he didn't say that specifically, but I'm gonna extend it out to that.
I implied it. I probably would too.
Yeah, I mean, after the huge win over Mahomes and then a bye week, how are you not going to expect them to come out swinging, excited for this game to beat Aaron Rodgers, to hand him his 4th straight loss? They probably love that shit. It's going to be
going home to prime time. Oh, it just screams Bills. Let's remember this. Aaron, this is Josh's
retire
team.
him. Let's retire him.
Yeah, let's send him off to a shaman to do DMT with his wife who practices witchcraft, and he can be like, "I wish I had Devontae Adams still. I can't win without him."
Jake Kumaro.
I miss Jake Kumaro. I miss Jake and Devontae.
I miss Jakey.
Oh, dude, I love watching Aaron Rodgers get exposed. It's beautiful. It's actually poetry in motion.
He's such a baby.
He is a little baby. He's thrown his teeth. You see what he said after this week? He was like, some of the guys who aren't doing well, we got to cut their reps. It's like, dude, you have 4 yards an attempt right now. Shut the fuck up.
Literally stink.
Yeah, right?
Give Jordan Love the ball.
Not even that. Just stop throwing your fucking teammates under the bus. You're an idiot. That's such a bad look.
And you're also a veteran, man. You've been around the league. You know what's going on.
16-year vetein, not just 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
Patrick Mahomes would never do. Patrick Mahomes was throwing to McCole Hardman and Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
And
he's not complaining.
People out.
Yeah, no. Because he's just good.
Scantling's two of the best 3 games is over 100 yards. He probably never did that in Green Bay.
No. That really just I was like, man, what are you doing, bro? That was crazy.
Let me take us to our final game of the slate. Monday night football. Bengals favorites by 3.5 points at the Cleveland Browns. They're going to Browntown. That sounded. They're going to the Brownsville.
Browntown could mean a lot of things.
No,
you put that in the wrong context. You might not get a job, dude.
But they're going to the Brown Stadium.
The dog pound.
The dog pound. Give me the Browns plus 3.5. I mean, I'll take a consistent running game over like a hit or miss offense all day. Even better with the 3.5 points on top of that, like with the little 3.5. I would love the money line here, to be honest with you. It's divisional. Browns have played horrendous in their last 4. They've lost 4 in a row, and they're not bad enough to lose 5. I mean, and a trend backing the Browns here. It's small sample size. Browns are 1-0 when over 3-point underdogs this year.
I like that. Yeah, they've been favored a lot and have been disappointing, I feel like. So.
Oh, and Bengals are 2-3 when 3+ point favorites. So they don't seem to translate well through the book.
What were we thinking, Peo?
Yeah. I mean, I had Browns plus 3.5 before the news came out that Jamar Chase was going to be out about 4 weeks now, 4 to 6 potentially.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, again, that just takes
hip
Cincinnati's
injury.
offense. I mean, now you can double team T. Higgins. You can bracket him. And I know Tyler Boyd had a great week last week, but if Tyler Boyd's going to beat you, okay, like we'll let that happen. So, yeah, I'm all over the Browns here. The Bengals cannot consistently run the football. Their defense is pretty good. But the Browns' offense was really efficient at the beginning of the season. Hopefully they refine some of the luck. Monday night in Cleveland, I love them here as dogs. I probably like them outright, too. I would pick them to win this one straight up, especially with Jamar out.
I have the exact same takes that you guys just had. Primetime division underdog right in my wheelhouse. Now that Jamar's out, that's huge. The Bengals have only been favored to the Browns one time in Zach Taylor's career. It was last year. They lost outright 41-16. So
that's wild.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns here, especially at home. I think they can just run the shit out of the ball, try and control the clock. No Chase is gigantic for the Bengals. Who's their third receiver now? Mike Thomas, and not the good one, the one who was the ex-Giants special teamer.
Fake Mike Thomas. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. The Bengals. That's brutal for the Bengals. Give me the Brownies here, plus 3.5. I think that's a very good bet.
Yeah, me too. I like that. I might take that in real life too. Actually,
yeah,
I think the line will change a little bit. Like I know I caught like 3.5 was the line before Chase went down.
Let me see what it is right now.
I mean, honestly, even if you flipped it to like minus 2.5, which is not
it went to 3. It went to 3.
Oh, that's nothing. Give me Cleveland. Like exactly. I would even take if this went to a pick 'em, I'd still take Cleveland.
I agree. I'd take Cleveland outright here. To be honest,
2, like you said.
And that's every game this week. All 15 of them ran through.
Damn, that was great.
That was great. Yeah, that was fantastic. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah,
Mr. DeepBall. Go follow him. We'll put all that stuff in the description. Like and subscribe. Go follow him. Comment. I don't know. Send this to your mom on Facebook. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Put a Craigslist ad out for us.
Sure. I don't know. You want to post a sticker on a wall somewhere? Say, yo, First and Inches boys. Gangsta as fuck.
Yeah, or
sick
if you want
pics.
to piss in the snow, like for the First and Inches logo, that would be funny.
Yeah, if you do that, that'll be awesome. Of course. No, thank you for coming on.
I know I'm cutting you off of your awesome piss logo there, but maybe I'll have to look into that in the future for me as a thank you for having me on here. But yeah, I really appreciate it, boys. Hopefully my picks are good. Like I said, I can come on here with really not a ton of credibility. But yeah, hopefully we hit some home runs this week.
You
have
came
as
in
much
hot,
credibility
dude.
as we do. I mean, you came in with amazing takes.
You got the numbies, yeah.
You got the numbies,
and sometimes that's all I can do.
That's all you need.
I would just pray.
That's all we ask. We pray and hope I don't go 3-11 again. That's the goal. But thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Peace out. We love you.
Deuces.